Hello and welcome back to Morrowind. If you weren't here last time, you missed quite a lot. Go and watch the previous episode. But in all seriousness, what I want to say is it's a reading episode. There's a lot of reading to do. Wait a second. I'm also over encumbered. Oh, that's fine. What's that? Deed to Indreli's house. By the grace of Almsivi, lords and rulers all. Know all Dunmer by these words that I, Muthsera Halu, Velando Omani, have legally purchased the home in Sayadnen of the Dunmer Indreli Rathurion and the accompanying land for the sum of 3,000 imperial drakes. Witness our hands on this third day of Evening Star of the third era, 426. Seal of the seller, Indreli Rathryan. Seal of the buyer, Velanda Omani. Just quick saving. I'm allowed that. Okay. That's weird. My god, there are a lot of books in here. And basically, we were told by Vivek, go read some books. Now, I hope these are the books he told us to read. And these aren't some other books. But I would assume that this is his library. Just seeing what we've got. I'm sure we've read a lot of these. So, let's just start in a corner of the room and then kind of make our way around. So, the Cantatas of Vivek. Gospels written in the form of epic songs. I don't think I've read it. Okay. The Cantatas of Vivek are gospels written in the form of epic songs. They trace the evolution of Vivek from a foolish mortal into an enlightened divine. Vivek sought out experiences that tested him in every way possible, particularly in the defense and protection of his Dunmer people, and through his long life, his humility, and his unconquerable spirit, he attained the wisdom of the seven graces. The Cantatas relate many stories of Vivek's experiments of challenge and risk, his failures and triumphs, his blessings of insight and good fortune, and his debt to his partners, Almalexia, the lover, and Sothasil, the teacher. The poetry is simple and dramatic, lyric and personal, composed to be sung or recited. The following is an excerpt from Lord Vivek's Brooding Beneath Red Mountain. The gaunt ghost fires loom as subtle shrouds, smoke and shades on the briars of Red Mountain. Arches and spires line the rock halls, dimly lit by the spirits of the dead. The blood of broken hearths and houses runs in red rivers, blossoms in fountains, girdled round within walls of wit's glass. The shattered hosts slumber in cradles of ash. But when shall they wake? What dark crucible may kindle their souls to light? How long beneath red reeking clouds must flickering watchfires burn? How many lifetimes of labour and lament will it take to seal this restless tomb? Okay, so the one this was taken from was Brooding Beneath Red Mountain. Okay. So I'm assuming this is kind of talking about Daggathur, right? Maybe? That would make sense, I guess. Yeah. Okay, interesting. The Book of Dawn and Dusk. I'm sure we've actually read it. The House of Troubles. Okay. I also think we've read it. Weird as it is. Some of these I may not have read, but if it looks like it's just an information book and I think we've read it, I'm just going to skip it. Darkest Darkness. Almost certainly we've read it. 5 Songs of King Wulfharth. I don't believe that we've read these. Okay. The first song of King Wulfharth is ancient, circa the first era, 500. After the defeat of the Alasian army at Glennumbria Moors, where King Hog Mercular was slain, Wulfharth of Atmor was elected by the Pact of Chieftains. His Thum was so powerful that he could not verbally swear into the office, and scribes were used to draw upon his oaths. Immediately thereafter, the scribes wrote down the first new law of his reign, a fiery reinstatement of the traditional Nordic pantheon. The edicts were outlawed, their priests put to the stake, and their halls set ablaze. The shadow of King Borgas had ended for a span. For his zealotry, King Wolfhearth was called Shore's Tongue, and Ismir, Dragon of the North. Okay, so this is something the reason I was getting a little bit slow there and thinking, I was like, yeah, I'm sure that actually you hear more about this in Morrowind. Not Morrowind. I'm playing Morrowind. I meant to say Skyrim. Because I'm sure this is all the Thuum stuff. That was Skyrim's jam. Anyway. Kain's son. The second king of King Wolfhearth glorifies his deeds in the eyes of the old gods. He fights the eastern orcs and shouts their chieftain into hell. He rebuilds the 418th step of High Hrothgar, which had been damaged by a dragon. When he swallowed a thundercloud to keep his army from catching cold, the Nords called him the Breath of Kain. Old Knocker. The third song of King Wolfhearth tells of his death. Orki, an enemy god, had always tried to ruin the Nords, even in Atmor, where he stole their years away. Seeing the strength of King Wolfhearth, Orki summoned the ghost of Alduin Time Eater again. Nearly every Nord was eaten down to 6 years old. Boy, Wolfhearth pleaded to Shore, the dead chieftain of the gods, to help his people. Shore's own ghost then fought the Time Eater on the spirit plane as he did at the beginning of time, and he won. And Orki's folk, the orcs, were ruined. As boy Wolfhearth watched the battle in the sky, he learned a new Thuum. What happens when you shake the dragon just so? He used this new magic to change his people back to normal. In his haste to save so many though, he shook too many years out on himself. He grew older than the greybeards and died. The flames of his pyre were said to have reached the hearth of Kain itself. Ah, okay. Yes, now this is where I recognize the names from. I'm fairly certain that these are the heroes or some of these are heroes that you meet at the end of Skyrim. I might be wrong, but you meet them in the Hall of Heroes, right? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm waiting for a response, but how are you going to respond to me? This is this is recorded, not live. Anyway, the Ash King. The fourth song of King Wolfhearth tells of his rebirth. The dwarves and devils of the eastern kingdoms had started to fight again, and the Nords hoped they might reclaim their ancient holdings there because of it. They planned an attack, but then gave up, knowing that they had no strong king to lead them. Then, in walked the devil of Dagoth, who swore he came in peace. Moreover, he told the Nords a wondrous thing. He knew where the heart of Shore was. Long ago, the chief of the gods had been killed by elven giants, and they ripped out Shore's heart and used it as a standard to strike fear into the Nords. This worked until Isgramor shouted some sense, and the Nords fought back again. Knowing that they were going to lose eventually, the elven giants hid the heart of Shore so that the Nords might never have their god back. But here was the devil of the Goth with good news. The dwarves and the devils of the Eastern Kingdom had his heart, and this was the reason for the recent unrest. The Nords asked the devil of the Goth why he might betray his country mayor, and he said that the devils had betrayed each other since the beginning of time, and this was so. And so the Nords believed him. The tongues sung Shore's ghost into the world again. Shore gathered an army, as he did of old, and then he sucked the long-strewn ashes of King Wolfhearth and remade him, for he needed a good general. But the devil of the Goth petitioned to be that general too, and he pointed out his role as the blessed harbinger of this holy war. So Shore had two generals, the Ash King and the devil of the Goth, and he marched on the eastern kingdoms with all the sons of Skyrim. Okay, yeah. So, we have the devils and the dwarfs, so that'll be the 6th house and the Dwemer, right? And I'm gonna assume that the heart is Lorkhan's heart, right? That would make sense, because that's the heart that's there. And when it says elven giants, okay, yeah. So this is basically the Nordish version of what Vivek was telling us about, right? On this one. About the fact that the Dwemer and the Dwemer and the 6th house are all What was it? What's the other house called? I've completely forgotten it in my head. Anyway, yes. So those two basically have... Yeah, okay. I think I've caught up to where we are. Let's read the next bit and we'll understand more. Red Mountain. The fifth song of King Wolfhearth is sad. The survivors of the disaster came back under a red sky. That year is called Sun's Death. The devil of the Goth had tricked the Nords, for the heart of Shor was not in the Eastern Kingdoms, and had never been there. As soon as Shor's army had got to Red Mountain, all the devils and dwarfs fell upon them. Their sorcerers lifted the mountain and threw it onto Shor, trapping him underneath Red Mountain until the end of time. They slaughtered the sons of Skyrim, but not before King Wolfhearth killed King Dumalakath, the dwarf orc, and doomed his people. Then Vek, the devil, blasted the Ash King into hell, and it was over. Later, Kain lifted the ashes of Izmir into the sky, saving him from hell, and showing her sons the colour of blood when it is brought by betrayal. And the Nords will never again trust another devil again. Okay. The secret song of Wolfhearth, Ash King, the truth at Red Mountain. The heart of Shor was in Resdain, as Dagath had promised. As Shor's army approached the westernmost bank of the Inner Sea, they started across Red Mountain, where merry armies had gathered. News from the scouts reported that Chimeri forces had just left Narcissus, and that they were taking their time joining their cousins against the Nord. Dagath said that the tribunal had betrayed their king's trust, that they sent Dagath to Lorcan, for that is what they called Shor in Resdain. Aha, okay. So the god might wreak vengeance on the dwarfs for their hubris, that Nerevar's peace with the Dwemer would be the ruin of the Velothi Way. This was the reason for the slow muster, Dagath said. The armies grow. And Lorcan, for that is what they called Shor in Resdain, said, I do not wreak vengeance on the dwarves for the reasons that the tribunal might believe I do. Nevertheless, it is true that they will die by my hand, and whoever should side with them. This Nerevar is the son of Beothea, one of the strongest Padomax. He is a hero to his people despite his tribunal, and he shall muster enough that this battle will be harder going still. We will need more than what we have. And so Dagath, who wanted the dwarfs as dead as the tribunal did, went to Coggoran and summoned his house, Chapthil, his Nixhounds, his wizards, archers, his stolen men of brass, and the Ash King Wolfhearth, Hori Ysmir, went and made peace with the orcs in spite of his Nordic blood. And they brought many warriors, but no wizards at all. Many Nords could not bring themselves to ally with their traditional enemies, even in the face of Red Mountain. They were close to desertion. Then Wolfhearth said, Don't you see where you really are? Don't you know who Shor really is? Don't you know what this war is? And he looked from king to the god, to the devils and orcs, and some knew, really knew, that they are the ones that stayed. The Doom Drum. Nerevar carried Keening, a dagger made of the sound of the shadow of the moons. His champions were Dumak, Dwarf King, who carried a hammer of divine mass, and Alandro Sul, who was the immortal son of Azura and wore the Wraith Mail. Oh, wait a second. So, Dumak, who carried a hammer of divine mass, and Alandro's son, who was the immortal son of Azura, who wore the Wraith Mail. Oh, so Alandro Sul is Vivek, right? Am I being stupid here? Because he's got the Wraith Mail, and that's the Wraith Guard stuff that we were just given, which would make the other one... Not entirely sure, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. Maybe Alandro Sul's someone completely different. Anyway. They met Lorcan at the last battle of Red Mountain. Lorcan had his heart again, but he had long been from it, and he needed time. Wolfheart met Sul, but could not strike him, for he fell from the... Oh wait, okay, never mind. I think I'm getting confused. Anyway, But he fell from grievous wounds, but not before shouting soul blind. Dagathor met Dumak and slew him, but not before Sunder struck his lord's heart. Nerevar turned away from Lorcan and struck down Dagathor in rage, but he took a mortal wound from Lorcan in turn. But Nerevar feigned the death that was coming early, so struck Lorcan with surprise on his side. The heart had been made solid by Sundering's tuning blow, and Keening could now cut it out. And it was cut out, and Lorcan was defeated, and the whole ordeal was thought over. That was interesting. There's a lot in there. However, I am not entirely sure I understood it all. But that's okay. I don't necessarily need to. The firmament, we chucked that in a ditch, I think, when we got that. The Eastern Provinces impartially considered. I'm sure we've also read that. Constellations of Prayer, I'm sure we've read it. Children of the Sky? Yeah, I'm sure we've read a bunch of these. The Chronicles of Nulschleft? I think we've read it. Yeah. That's fine.
Move along.
We've read the brief history of the Empire. The Brothers of Darkness. Yes, definitely read that. Book of Daedra. Yep. We've already seen that one. Changed ones. I think... Oh, well, maybe we haven't read this one. No, we've read it. Okay, that's fine. What else have we got? Sarion's Sermons. Oh, okay. This volume of the Hieroglypha, priestly writings, was written and collected with the commentary by Archcanon Tholer Sarion, and is the best-selling of the temple annotated texts, and therefore inexpensive and commonly found in most Dunmer households. Sarion collects Vivek's most famous sermons and the popular explanations of his Gospels. This text exists in many editions. More elaborate editions are handsomely illuminated with Vivek's quotations from the Gospels for days, seasons, and festivals. Listen faithful to Vivek's words, for he says 5 times in 5 ways. Forge a keen faith in the crucible of suffering, engrave upon the eye the image of injustice. Death does not diminish. The ghost gilds with glory. Faith conquers all, let us yield to faith. Better to suffer a wrong than to do one. Hear the words of Lord Vivek and heed his sermons on the 7 graces, for he names them 7 times in 7 ways. Valor, daring, justice, courtesy, pride, generosity, humility. The grace of valor. Thank you for your valor, Lord Vivek. I shall not quail nor turn away, but face my enemies in my fear. The grace of daring. Thank you for your daring, Lord Vivek. I shall not shun risk, nor hide behind the mask of cautious counsel, for fortune favours the bold. The grace of justice. Thank you for your justice, Lord Vivek. I shall be neither cruel nor arbitrary, for fair dealing earns the love, trust, and respect of our people. The grace of courtesy. Thank you for your courtesy, Lord Vivek. I shall speak neither hurtful nor harsh word, but shall speak respectfully, even of my enemies, for temperate words may turn aside anger. The grace of pride. Thank you for your pride, Lord Vivek. I shall not doubt myself, or my people, or my gods, and shall insist upon them and my ancient rights. The grace of generosity. Thank you for your generosity, Lord Vivek. I shall neither hoard nor steal, nor encumber myself with profitless treasures, but shall share freely among house and hearth. The grace of humility. Thank you for your humility, Lord Vivek. I shall neither strut nor preen in vanity, but shall know and give thanks for my place in the greater world. Okay, just an interesting bit of Vivek's teachings, but not too much else there. Vivek and Methala? Yeah, I think we've read it. I'm not reading the special flora. Yeah, right. Although actually, I does not have enough charge. I need to choose something else to give me. I got the fighter ring. Is that enough? Yeah, there we go. I do want to have a look in here. What was the house name? No. Okay, it doesn't say immediately within 2 seconds of looking at it. I was trying to figure out if it told me the 6th house name so I could not forget it. Have I read this? I don't think I have. Oh my... Oh my lord, have you seen that? That's 45 pages. We might read that last. Okay, mixed unit tactics. I think we've read it, because I'm fairly certain that's the skill book, and we've already got it. The True Noble's Code. I don't think we've read it. Okay. The Honourable... Oh, this is by Sergio Sarethi. We've met him. Anyway, I think we have anyway. The Honourable Warriors of the Great House Redoran are the hereditary defenders of Morrowind. To be a noble of House Redoran is more than being a great warrior. One must follow the truest virtues of duty, gravity, and piety. A Redoran's duty is first to the Tribunal Temple, second to the Great House Redoran, and third to one's family and clan. In the Battle of Red Mountain, warriors of House Redoran died bravely for their duty to the Tribunal. By defending House Redoran from schemes of Telvanni wizards and the lies of untrustworthy Halalu, the true noble shows duty to House Redoran. Following the temple's guidelines of mercy and generosity, show duty to one's family and clan. A Redoran noble must know the virtue of gravity, for it is not the Redoran way to laugh at serious matters, for it shows disrespect. It is not the Redoran way to spread rumours, for they fester and breed dissension. A Redoran must show piety to the Aedra and Daedra, our creators and ancestors, for without the divine we would not have a chance to serve, and without divine law we would not know right from wrong, and without giving thanks for these things we would forget I think that's our place and our purpose. The Great House Redoran praises all the skills of war, not because we believe war is good or honourable in its own right, but because this knowledge is necessary to perform one's duty. House Redoran's warrior fight with a long blade and a shield or with a spear. A noble of House Redoran must also learn to use a bow and must be athletic enough for long marches to battle. A Redoran wears heavy or medium armour, depending on rank and strategy. A noble of House Redoran is expected to know how to repair and maintain his own armour. Those who are born to House Redoran have been taught their skill and virtues by kin and clan. Those who seek to enter House Redoran as retainers must satisfy an examiner in the Redoran Council Hall that their skills are suitable for service to House Redoran. Whether born to the blood of House Redoran or adopted into service of House Redoran by oath, those who seek to advance in the ranks of House Redoran must demonstrate their virtues by service and obedience, and only when one has mastered all skills and virtues can one truly call himself a noble of the Great House Redoran. Okay, so I imagine you'd get that book if you were joining House Redoran. Yes, we'll read the real Baron Zia at some point. I'm sure we've read all of these, but I'm just going to click through them in case... yeah, so I think we've read that. The Affairs of Wizards. We maybe have read that, but maybe haven't. That's fine. Yeah, don't need any of that. Right. Sarioni's sermons. We might be getting a bit of a yeah, we're seeing a lot of duplicates here.
What is it, citizen?
So like a special book room, because it kind of implied there were going to be new books for us to read.
Is there something?
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see if there's another room here somewhere. I don't think there is. Is this it? Is this all he's got for us? He said there was multiple different versions of stories for us to read, potentially, but maybe there's two libraries. I don't know if this is the library he was referring to, but we've read everything in it apart from the real Baron Zia. Hello. Yeah, not really. That's fine. Let's have a look up here. Maybe there are multiple maybe there's a library up next to the palace. Maybe. I'm also thinking about the real Baron Zia. That's like 200 pages of books. That's a lot of book. I'm starting to question whether I'm going to read it. Hey Vivek, I'm just here to check if you have more library. No. Okay, that must be the library down here then. Right, he also gave us some more things in here, which hopefully I can easily find. But I think I'm just going to skim these because I think they were just basically what he said, but if you wanted to read them instead of, you know, yeah, like Dagathur's plans. If I go and grab one of those. I think that these are pretty much just what we were told already. Yeah, pretty much just what we were told already, I think. I mean, there's a little bit more in here. But I think we... Okay, we'll go through this. That's fine. Looks like there's a little bit more in here. I was wanting to move this as well, but I can't. Okay. From the interrogation of captured sleepers and other 6th House cultists, from the study of manuscripts written by cultists and victims of dream-induced mania, from interviews of Lord Vivek concerning historical campaigns against Red Mountain, and from broad conjectures and inferences made upon these materials, it is our best estimate of Dagathur's motivations and objectives in his most recent phase of his war upon Morrowind. Basic objectives. Establish a theocracy in Morrowind based on the worship of the new-born god Akulakan, second Numidium, to be created by Dagathur from the heart of Lorkhan, and a body constructed according to the principles and rituals pioneered by the Dwemer Kagrenak. Establish the ancient heirs of House Dagoth as the god priests of Akulakan, and the 6th House of Dagathur as the dominant political power in Morrowind. Through charismatic conversion, unites the Dwemer under the guidance of Dagathur to battle against the foreign animals who hold Morrowind in subjugation. Note, Dagathur has apparently adopted the views and motivations of the Dwemer High Craft Lord Kagrenak. In effect, he recapitulates the ancient blasphemous folly of the Dwemer. 2. Expose the false worship of the Tribunal and destroy the ecclesial authority and political power of the temple. How much the distant priests or the cult of the Nerevarine may be controlled or influenced by 6th House in this regard is open to speculation. Extirpate all remaining individuals of inferior and mongrel races from Morrowind. Drive the Empire from Morrowind. 5. Recover ancient territory stolen by Skyrim and Argonia. 6. Extend the worship of Akulakan to all nations of Tamriel through subversion and conquest. Plans to establish and expand the 6th House. Phase 1. Secure Red Mountain against Tribunal intruders. Deny Tribunal access to the Heart, weakening the temple while securing Red Mountain for the creation of Akulakan. Keep the construction of the second Numidium a secret. Phase 2. Create passive servants in ever-widening circles around Red Mountain by broadcasting compulsions crouched in dream imagery to susceptible subjects in their sleep. Establish a major operational base at Kogoran for further operations in Ash Wastes. Establish smaller bases near port villages and in lower-class waterfront districts in Vivek. Infiltrate and subvert smuggling syndicates, recruit willing followers from disaffected populations including the underworld, the poor, and rabid anti-imperial activists. Phase 3. Expand from smaller bases to other towns and villages and recruit and indoctrinate subjects made susceptible by dream sendings. Occupy abandoned towers and ruins, and train corrupted cultists as raiders and irregular troops. Identify, discredit, and decimate possible sources of political resistance. Phase 4. Use assassination and terror to weaken, distract, and disrupt the legions and the imperial bureaucracy, along with their Hlalu sympathizers. Inspire popular uprisings of the native poor against the foreign rich and powerful. Summon sleepers and dreamers to Dagathur to work on second Numidium. Inferring Dagathur's perspectives. Dagathur thinks on a large timescale, for the most part, in the outside of timescale of the divine consciousness. He thinks that the only obstacles of mythic scale are worth consideration. He believes he is fated to rule Morrowind, to free Morrowind of the Empire and become the new, hard-loving father of Morrowind. Given that perspective, the only opposing forces Dagathur worries about are Tribunal, the Daedra, the Emperor, and the Incarnate. With the Tribunal's loss of Sunder and Keening, And with the diminishing resources of Vivec, Almalexia and Sotha Sil, Dagathur believes he has permanently gained a decisive strategic advantage. On a mortal timescale, the battle may last for centuries, but the outcome is not in doubt, and Akula Khan may be a device for dramatically reducing the timescale for a decisive victory. The myth of dynamic invincibility of the Emperor and the Empire has long been an unquantifiable and intimidating threat, but recent rumour of unrest in Cyrodiil, of the Emperor's failing health, and the unsettled question of succession have diminished the scale of that threat. Nonetheless, the revelation that the Nerevarine is a pawn of Imperial intelligence handpicked and sent to Morrowind by the Emperor himself may cause Dagathur considerable anxiety. The Daedra represent no coherent obstacle to Dagathur. Nonetheless, their personal abilities and their influence upon the fanatic followers is considerable, though motives and actions obscure, and Dagathur remains concerned about them. The Incarnate represents Saint Nerevar, a mythic force that had previously defeated Dagathur, and Dagathur is obsessed with this threat. At the same time, Dagathur knew Nerevar personally, knew that he was a mortal man with faults and weaknesses. Dagathur may have some hope of seducing or negotiating with Nerevar's reincarnation. Further, when Nerevar and the Tribunal defeated Dagathur, they were strong and allied. Now the Nerevarine and the Tribunal are weak, opposed and divided. Therefore, though the Nerevarine and the Tribunal represents the most serious threat to Dagathur's plans, he still has good reason to believe that this time he will prevail. Recent timescale of Dagathur's activities. Much of the following timescale is based on inference from incomplete information. Before 882 in the Second Era, Dagathur and his kin lie dreaming beneath the sills of Red Mountain. 882 of the Second Era, Dagathur and his ash vampires awake refreshed and emerge from Red Mountain into the Heart Chamber. Dagathur ritually binds himself and his brethren as Heart Wights in a ritual of his own devising. First stages of construction of the second Numidium, conceived during the Long Sleep, are begun by Heart Wights and Atronach constructs in a chamber near the heart of Lorcan. Keeping the second Numidium project a secret from the Tribunal is a high priority. Same year, the Tribunal arrive at Red Mountain for their annual ritual bathing in the Heart's power. Dagathur and the Ash Vampires ambush the Tribunal. The Tribunes are driven away and prevented from restoring themselves with Kagmanak's tools at the heart of Lorcan. Between the 882nd year of the Second Era and the 417th year of the Third Era, intermittent Tribunal campaigns assault Red Mountain. The Tribunal and supporting forces seek to force access to the Heart Chamber, but are repeatedly driven back. Dagathur recruits sleepers and dreamers through dream sendings. Cultists are recruited through dream compulsion. Weaker cultists become corpus beasts. Stronger cultists advance through stages towards the powers of the ascended sleepers. Year 400 of the Third Era. So this is within this time period. Kogorun, reoccupied by Dagath Uthal and fortified as an advanced base for the Sixth House operations. Blight storms more frequent and widespread. Soul sickness spreads in regions close to Red Mountain. 10 years later, Sixth House bases founded near Narmok and in waterfront areas of Vivec. Sixth House operatives exploit smuggler organizations and communications to spread their influence among victims unbalanced by Dagathur's dream sendings. 5 years later, small cells of Sixth House cultists in every town in Vardenfell. Large Sixth House operations are concealed in remote dungeons where creatures are bred and cultists are trained for the coming struggle. 2 years later, Almalexia and Sotha Sil lose the artifacts Keening and Sunder to Dagath Odros and Vemin. Vivec rescues Almalexia and Sotha Sil, but failing to recover Keening and Sunder, the Tribunal retreat from Red Mountain in disorder. Surviving Boyant Armiger companions know the Tribunal was forced to retreat, but do not know how serious a reversal the Tribunal has suffered. The three Tribunes return to their respective capitals and continue to perform their ritual functions. The Tribunes continue to grow weaker without access to the heart and become and because of resources required to support the ghost fence. The inner circle of the temple priesthood has begun to suspect the tribunes have suffered seriously from wounds and demoralization in the wake of the reserves at Red Mountain, but do not recognize the scale of the problem. Between the years 426 and 427 in the Third Era, campaign of the Sixth House assassinations of prominent Imperial citizens and Halu Imperial sympathizers. Sudden increase in number and seriousness of attacks by cultists and victims deranged by soul sickness. Noted with concern. Number 1. Dagath-ur can apparently perceive and communicate directly through his cultists. Sleepers and dreamers are often reported speaking as though with Dagath-ur's voice and intention. Number 2. Little is known about the features, scale, or stage of completion of the Akulakan, second Numidium. No one has gained entrance to the Heart Chamber since the year 282 of the Second Era. In the year 417 of the Third Era, Keening and Sunder were captured and may substantially aid in Akulakan's construction. What's the year now? I have no idea. Cool. So that was a lot. There was definitely more things about Dagath-ur. So we got his plans. Did we get anything else? Kagvanak's tools? I think we already have had that. I think we plan to defeat Dagath-ur. Yeah. This one's fairly straightforward. Yeah, this is the same thing we were just told. I don't think there's any more information in here. Yeah, this looks like it's the same thing he told us. I'm assuming that the rest of it's the same thing he told us. Yeah, I'm going to assume the rest of it's the same thing he told us. I was thinking about the real Baron Zia as well. We may have to leave that. Because I'm starting to lose my voice as we speak, so... Maybe we might go and do some crafting instead. But yeah, we did some books. We learned some stuff. We didn't really learn any more than we already got, did we? Than we already had. He did tell us what he said would happen at Red Mountain, but I think he's already told us that. Was that the battle at Red Mountain? Yes, so this is the red... this is... Oh, okay. Yes, this is actually what we want. Oh, okay, never mind. There is one more we need to read. This one's important. Wait, what's this? Coda flowers. Oh, okay. Let's read this next one. Once I get up on here, because I don't have enough charge. Okay. Well, now I'm trapped. Okay, now I can't move, so I might as well read the Red Mountain note. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. The Battle at Red Mountain. Okay. The following is a transcript of the words of Lord Vivek addressed to distant priest Malar Main, who confronted Vivek with the Ashlander tradition surrounding the Battle of Red Mountain and the prophecies of the Nerevarine, and to unnamed magistrates of the Inquisition who joined Vivek in interrogating the distant priests. Who can clearly recall the events of the distant past? But you have asked me to tell you, in my own words, the events surrounding the Battle of Red Mountain, the birth of the Tribunal, and the prophecies of a Nerevar reborn. Here is what I can tell you. When the Chimer first abandoned the herds and tents of their nomadic ancestors and built the first great houses, we loved the Daedra and worshipped them as gods. But our brethren the Dwemer scorned the Daedra and mocked our foolish rituals, so preferred instead their gods of reason and logic. So the Chimer and the Dwemer were always at bitter war until the Nords came and invaded Resdain. Only then did the Chimer and the Dwemer put away their strife and join together to cast out the invaders. Once the Nords were driven out, General Nerevar of the Chimer and General Dumak of the Dwemer, there's Dumak there, so I was definitely wrong earlier, who had come to love and respect one another, resolved to make peace between their peoples. In that time, I was but a junior counsellor to Nerevar, and Nerevar's queen Amalexia, and his other favourite counsellor Sothasil always doubted that such a peace might long survive, given the bitter disputes between the Chimer and Dwemer. But by negotiation and compromise, Nerevar and Dumak somehow managed to preserve a fragile peace. But when Dagath-ur, Lord of House Dagoth, and trusted as a friend by both Nerevar and the Dwemer, brought us proof that High Engineer Kagranak of the Dwemer had discovered the heart of Lorkhan, and that he had learned how to tap its powers, and was building a new god, a mockery of the Chimmer faith and a fearsome weapon, we all urged Nerevar to make war on the dwarves, and to destroy this threat to the Chimmer beliefs and security. Nerevar was troubled. He went to Dumak and asked if what Dagath-ur said was true, but Kagranak took great offence and asked who Nerevar thought he was that he might presume to judge the affairs of the Dwemer. Nerevar was further troubled and made pilgrimage to Holameyan, the sacred temple of Azura, and Azura confirmed that all that Dagath-ur said was indeed true, and that the creation of a new god of the Dwemer should be prevented at all costs. When Nerevar came back and told us what the goddess had said, we felt our judgments confirmed, and again counselled him to war, chiding Nerevar for his naive trust and friendship, and reminding Nerevar of his duty to protect the faith and security of the Chimmer against the impiety and dangerous ambitions of the Dwemer. Then, Nerevar went back to Vardenfell one last time, hoping that negotiations and compromise might once again preserve the peace. But this time, the friends Nerevar and Dumak quarrelled bitterly, and as a result, the Chimmer and the Dwemer went to war. The Dwemer were well defended by their fortress at Red Mountain, but Nerevar's cunning drew most of Dumak's armies out into the field and pinned them there, while Nerevar, Dagath-ur, and a small group of companions could make their way into the Heart Chamber by secret means. There, Nerevar and the Chimmer King met Dumak the Dwarf King, and they both collapsed from grievous wounds and draining magics. With Dumak fallen and threatened by Dagath-ur and others, Kagranak turned his tools upon the heart, and Nerevar said he saw Kagranak and all his Dwemer companions at once disappear from the world. In that instance, Dwemer everywhere disappeared without a trace, but Kagranak's tools remained, and Dagath-ur seized them, and he carried them to Nerevar, saying, "That fool Kagranak had destroyed his own people with these things. We should destroy them right away, lest they fall into the wrong hands." But Nerevar was resolved to confer with his queen and his generals, who had foreseen that this war would come, and whose counsel he would not ignore again. "I will ask the tribunal what we shall do with them, for they have had the wisdom in the past that I have not. Stay here, loyal Dagath-ur, until I return." So Nerevar told Dagath-ur to protect the tools and the heart chamber until he returned. Then, Nerevar was carried to us where we waited on the slopes of Red Mountain, and he told us all that had transpired under Red Mountain. What Nerevar had said was that the Dwemer had used special tools to turn their people into immortals, and that the heart of Lorkhan had held wondrous powers. Only later did we hear from others present that Dagath-ur had thought the Dwemer destroyed, not made immortal, and no one knows for sure what really happened there. After hearing Nerevar, we gave our counsel as he requested, proposing, "We should preserve these tools in trust for the welfare of the Chimmer people, and who knows, perhaps the Dwemer are not gone forever, but merely transported to some distant realm from which they may someday return to threaten our security once again. Therefore, we need to keep these tools, to study them and their principles, so we may be safe in future generations." And though Nerevar voiced his grave misgivings, he was willing to be ruled by our council under one condition, that we all together should swear a solemn oath upon Azura that tools would never be used in the profane manner that the Dwemer had intended. We all readily agreed and swore solemn oaths at Nerevar's dictation. So then we went with Nerevar back into Red Mountain and met with Dagath-ur. Dagath-ur refused to deliver the tools to us, saying that they were dangerous and that we could not touch them. Dagath-ur seemed to be irrational, insisting that only he could be trusted with the tools, and that we guessed that he had somehow been affected by his handling of the tools. But now I feel sure that he privately learned the powers of the tools, and had, in some confused way, decided he must have them for himself. Then Nerevar and our guard resorted to force to secure the tools. Somehow Dagath-ur and his retainers escaped, but we gained the tools and delivered them to Sotha-Sil for study and safekeeping. For some years we kept the oaths we swore to Azura with Nerevar, but during that time, in secret, Sotha-Sil must have studied the tools and divined their mysteries. And at last he came to us with a vision of a new world of peace, with justice and honour for nobles, and health and prosperity for commoners, with the tribunal as immortal patrons of and guides. And dedicating ourselves to this vision of a better world, we made a pilgrimage to Red Mountain, and transformed ourselves with the power of Kagranak's tools. And no sooner than we had completed our rituals and begun to discover our newfound powers, the Daedra Lord Azura appeared and cursed us for our forsworn oaths. By her powers of prophecy, she assured us that her champion, Nerevar, true to his oath, would return to punish us for our perfidy, and to make sure such profane knowledge might never again be used to mock and defy the will of the gods. But Sothasil said to her, "The old gods are cruel and arbitrary, and distant from the hopes and fears of Mer. Your age is past. We are the new gods, born of the flesh and wise and caring of the needs of our people. Spare us your threats and chiding inconstant spirit. We are bold and fresh, and we will not fear you." And then, in that moment, all Chimer were changed into Dunmer, and our skins turned ashen and our eyes into fire. Of course, we only knew at the time that this had happened to us. We only knew at that time that this had happened to us. But Azura said, "This is not my act, but your act. You have chosen your fate, and the fate of your people, and all the Dunmer shall share your fate, from now until the end of time. You think yourselves gods, but you are blind, and all is darkness." And Azura left us alone in darkness, and we were all afraid. But we put on brave faces and went forth from Red Mountain to build the new world of our dreams. And the new world we shaped was glorious and generous, and the worship of the Dunmer fervent and grateful. The Dunmer were at first afraid of their new faces, but Sothasil spoke to them, saying that it was not a curse but a blessing, a sign of their changed natures and a sign of the special favour they might enjoy as new Mer, no longer barbarians trembling before ghosts and spirits, but civilized Mer, speaking directly to their immortal friends and patrons, the three faces of the tribunal. And we were all inspired by Sothasil's speech and vision, and took heart, and over time we crafted the customs and institutions of a just and honourable society, and the land of Resde knew a millennia of peace, equity, and prosperity unknown to other savage races. But beneath Red Mountain, Dagathur had survived. And even as the light of our bold new world shined ever more brightly beneath Red Mountain, the darkness gathered. A darkness that was close kin to the bright light that Sothasil coaxed from the heart of Lorcan of the tools of Kagranak. As the darkness grew, we fought it, and crafted walls to confine it. But we could never destroy it. For the source of the darkness was the same source as the source of our own divine inspiration. And in these latter days of Morrowind, reduced to subjugated province of the Western Empire, as the glory of the temple fades and the dark tide rises from Red Mountain, we are reminded of Azura and her promised champion's return. We have waited, blind and in darkness, mere shadows drained of our ardent vision, in shame of our folly, in fear of our judgment, and in hope of our deliverance. We do not know if the Outlander claiming to fulfill the prophecies of the Nerevarine as our old companion Nerevar reborn, or pawn of the Emperor, or cat's paw of Azura, or some simple twist of fate, but we insist you adhere to temple doctrine and conform to the strictures dividing the hierographa from the aprographa, and that you not speak that which must not be spoken openly. Act as a dutiful priest should, in accordance with your vows of obedience to the canons and archcanons, and all will be forgiven. Defy me, and you will know what it is to stand against a god. Vivek. Well, I'm happy we read that, because we got a great view into Vivek there. Like, we got a massive view into what's going on with him. So it was very, very interesting in terms of where the actual stories come from. So basically, is Azura cursed all... I don't think we heard that before. Cursed all the Dunmer to have the dark skin and the red eyes. That is... yeah, I think it's the first time I've heard that. So that's kind of neat, yeah. Okay, I like it. like it. Can we reach here before we... Yes,
information,
perfect.
Redguard?
So, now we've read that, we know roughly what our quest is. Oh, I'm now over encumbered. Got another charge. Got a charge of anything that gives me something. I think I have something that gives me... feather, don't I? Strength by 5? No, don't have enough for that. Robes. I thought I had something that gave me feather, which would be really good round about now. I could levitate, but that seems like an awful... You can't levitate while you're over encumbered. Good to know. I thought I had a feather thing. Oh, I have a feather potion. That's it. Yeah. Doesn't even help that much. Yeah, okay. So that helped about 0. Do I have anything that gives me more strength? Fortify strength by 27. Wonderful. Now I can float. But can't go very fast because I'm floating. How long do I fortify my strength for? Doesn't tell you on that thing. Cool. That's fine. So we're just going to fly over here. And we're going to go back to Balmora. We're going to drop some stuff off. And we're going to go and make a bunch of stuff and be prepared to go to Red Mountain. Sounds like a plan. So let's travel to Balmora.
Why walk when you can ride?
I can't walk. Would be my problem there. One of those. Nice, we're good. Okay. Just a little fortify strength potion to allow us to move. Right. Oh, I almost made it. No, I don't want to float. Okay. Yeah, one more of those. Thank you. Just crawl our way in here. Ooh, what we got? Civvy intervention. Oh, I don't need cure common disease. Oh, I can't. Once I picked it up, I can't place it back down. Oh. Okay. Right. In here, I can drop off stuff. So, I'm not taking that anywhere with me. It's fine. Endural helmet. Am I taking it? Let's go for no. Shadow shield, I'm not taking. Shield of the Undaunted, I'm not taking. Fortify speechcraft, don't need it. That belt I might take. That belt is... These two belts both seem like they might be useful. This one, useless. The ring seems useful. That collar is constant, so it's definitely useful. There's the feather ring that I should have been using. Actually, Mother's ring... It doesn't weigh anything, so I might as well take it. Just equip that. In fact, I should equip Helseth's one while I'm here. Moon and Star as well I should equip. That's fine. Don't need that. Unless I have some specific reason for taking it. That's pretty good, actually. No, it's Fortify. Never mind, I don't need Fortified. If it was Gain Health, that'd be fine. This one? No. This one might be useful. I don't know. Definitely not. Why would I ever? Actually pointless. I can still be paralyzed to poisoned. Detect key. Who needs it? Oh, it weighs 0. But it weighs 0, I might as well keep it, right? Yeah, that one doesn't weigh 0. I'm never going to use it. Fortify agility seems fine. Do I need that many fortify agilities? That's a good question. Probably not. I probably just need like one lot of fortify agility. Are these not the same? These seem like they're the same. You know what? Let's put away the stack of 3. Fortify endurance. It's fine. Probably don't need any more fortify endurance. Don't need fortify health. Don't need fortify intelligence. Fortify luck might be useful, but I'll keep the superb ones. Get rid of the magica ones. Fortify speed. Is that my only fortify speed? Nope. Okay. I'll take the better one. Don't need fortify stamina. This item will not fit. Okay. Oh, I'm still floating. That's why I'm moving a little bit weirdly. Yeah, this one's fine to drop stuff in. Willpower. Now, willpower does give you fatigue, so it's worth keeping, I think. Frost shield, not going to run into that. Strength's fine. Invisibility might be useful. Jump might be useful. Lightning shield, I'm not going to use that. Detect enchantment, I'll know it if I need to know it. Reflect, yeah, maybe. Resist common disease, actually useless. Yep. I'm already immune to disease. Resist fire, never going to use it. Resist poison, never going to use it. Restore agility, we'll keep those on us. That's fine. Restore health, definitely. Restore endurance, definitely. Anything that's restore, we're going to keep on us, unless it's magicka. Yep, that's fine. Restore personality, sure. Restore speed, sure. Stamina, that's another sure. All of that stamina. Strength, willpower is fine. Levitates are useful. Silence, no. Swift swim, never gonna use it, never gonna use it. Telekinesis, fortify speed. Well, how much do those weigh? Those weigh 5 apiece. I'll get rid of them. Yeah, actually, there anything else? Do I have any other elixirs? I don't need water walking either. Although it might, you know what? It might. No, I'm just gonna teleport if I need water walking. None. I'm just checking that none of these are elixirs. No, I think we might be fine. Oh, that was hulking there. That weighs 5. Oh yeah, get rid of those. They weigh 5 apiece. That's terrible. Right. Okay. Book-wise, I can actually go drop them off downstairs. Can I just get that to wear off, this floaty stuff? That'd be brilliant. Round about now would be perfect. I said I've read these books. Let's put them in a new red book corner if I'm going to keep them. So by red book, I mean I'm putting the red book in the red book corner. The brown book in the red book corner. Okay, right. So that's fine. So both of those are good. So now I'm perfectly within weight. Right. Time to ruin that. I'm not that far off. I can almost move, weirdly. Okay. Then we're going to go grab one of these. And we're going to start crafting. So, would love there to be a sort in here, but as there is not, we're just going to go in and scroll through. We're looking for restore endurance or restore health. So emeralds restore health. We'll go with them first. So it's emerald. Are there any other restore healths in here? I could make ones that restore health and restore stamina, but I'm not going to do that. Because that sounds like that is taking it a bit too far. So that's marshmallow. I think wickwheat will also do this. But yeah, let's have a look. So that was marshmallow. So, ooh, was that? No, it's feather. It's fine. Didn't see any yet. I know I have a lot of restore stamina, fortify health. So I have nothing else that gains you health. Okay. So drop them on the ground. Well, not on the ground, but you know, drop them. Now we're looking for restore stamina, like this hound meat I have. Right, so hound's meat. Now we're going in here. And just stop every time we see like the kwama eggs. Let's go. Nice. So that was kwama eggs. So now I'm completely out of things, but that's okay. There's another restore. Oh, there's marshmallow. Oh, that's the one we already saw. Yep. Yep, that would explain it, why it was in the list, because it's the one that we already saw. Good. There's restore stamina, that's salt rice. So next one's probably going to be small kwama egg, but, you know, just to confirm it. So salt rice. There you go, small kwama egg. Nice. So small... Right. Oh, there's restore strength. And I don't see any more in here. And that might be us done with this for just now. Yeah. Okay. Not too bad. Right. Now we'll drop all the stuff into our like chest of drawers and see how well we're doing here. I have way too much bone meal. I should probably just go chuck it off a mountain somewhere, but that's alright. Yeah, move this stuff over. Maybe I should do it there. That's slightly easier, actually. Yeah, I have way too much raw ebony in there as well. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this stuff. Probably just leave it in here forever. I'm misclicking it slightly here. That's okay. Nice. Am I going to get it all in one container? That'd be lovely. I do have one up the stairs that we can put backup stuff in, but I'm hoping I got it down to one. Look at that. Right, so that is so much better. Oh my god, look how high we jump. That's crazy. Right. Okay, anything else that I'm not taking with me? That is something to have a look at. Right. Where am I dropping? Yeah, okay. So this one, I'm probably not taking that with me. Taking the bow, taking last rites, taking the dagger. Where's my daikatanas equipped? Yeah, so we're actually really good. If I decided not to take the daikatana or last rites, that would give me an extra 30 or 60 weight. That'd be really good. Don't know if I need to. Right, need to go buy some health potions. Buy, I mean. Go next door and see whether they have any. Oh, you know what I should do? Just quickly go in here and go, hey, repair up. There we go. Everything's repaired up. Perfect. Right, how close am I to a level? Very. Okay, so the rest of these just drop on the ground. Right, let's go get ourselves a level.
Ready for anything.
So for a level, what are we going for? Well, we need to get this. Well, what have we got? So we got speed, I think, is like 94. Actually, speed is nice to be 96 because I think we got a +5 bonus to it. We got +2 in there, haven't we? No, we got +1 in there. So that means that we would want to be at an 8. So can I get to 8 speed if I go unarmored? That's really my only one unarmored, isn't it? Yeah, potentially. Or just go get willpower. It's gonna be luck, it's gonna be speed, and then it's gonna be... Yeah, I guess luck, speed, willpower. Unless I do personality, but I don't really need my personality to be higher. Yeah, so let's go get speed. Hand to hand would get me speed. But I really need it to be unarmored, unfortunately. So, okay. Can't help but notice no guards are attacking me, but that might be because they're dead. Do any of you sell unarmored training? I don't know if they would. No, I don't know if they do. I think they sell unarmed, but not unarmored. Yeah, I think they all have armor on, unfortunately. Yeah. You're not gonna sell, are you? No. So I probably want to go to the Thieves Guild. Well, you do Mercantile, weirdly. Just because we were talking about it. Right. So. Let's go over here. Right. I'm looking for a big jump over there. Almost worked. Oh, hey. You're not friendly. I saw them and thought, am I going to mention it? And then thought, no, I'm not mentioning it. I'll just let them be. And then, nope, they're not friendly. Okay. Hey, what's up? Nothing, huh? Oh, training? Nope. Okay. Hey, what's up? Okay. Good to see you. Wearing no armor offers training. Think, ooh, yeah, good time. Nope. Nope.
Discipline us. We are foolish.
Nope. Okay. Training? Hey. Wonderful. Training? Nope. Okay. Thought I'd ask. So I think that person probably does the unarmored training, unfortunately. Right. Now I'm up here. Right. Up this way. Nope. Trapped. There we go. That's better. Trying to figure out which. So probably this way. Hey, my athletic skill went up. That's 1 extra point in speed. Fantastic. Now I need 2 points more in unarmored. Probably. Oh, they noticed where I was again.
May you find all that you seek, traveler.
Riordan Radaris, I'm a sleeper, 1000. To bring your methods. Dagathor calls you, Bruce. You cannot deny your lord. The 6th house has risen. Hey, not the time. I really like her. What? How many of you are there? It's, again, not really the time. Oh, right. Hello. You got you got any training for me in unarmored? Yeah, I didn't think you would. No. Okay, down the stairs. I could always train something which I have the skill in, just to get that level. Hey, what's up? You do hand-to-hand. Can you give me any more athletics? No. You know what? Give me, how much do I need? Give me 6 hand-to-hands. 1, 2, 3.
I'd be happy to talk. My pleasure.
4, 5, 6. Right, so I now have all the speed I need. Okay. I've got 1 in luck, and then the last one's going to be willpower. Willpower is probably going to have to be, like, mysticism. Yeah, it means I'm going to have to go next door for that. That's okay. And then I need 2 in, like, a skill up here. Maybe marksman? Wait, do you do marksman? What do you do? Do block? No. Longblade? Oh, but that doesn't matter, because Longblade doesn't add into anything. Hey. You do armor. Yeah, they give me another armor. Nice, okay. So I want to go next door. I want to find somebody who'll teach me mysticism. Which I think is the necromancer over here teaches you mysticism. Hello? Yep, 1,
I am honored. Truly.
2,
How may I help you?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that should be 10 in mysticism and willpower. Yeah. And 1 luck. Perfect. I'm exactly where I need to be.
Care to talk?
Right, rest. Aha. So we'll go for speed up to 100 in speed. Wonderful. Luck up to 63 and willpower up to 47. Okay. Nice. So we are now as fast as we could ever be.
I do enjoy a good
Wonderful.
conversation.
We're fast, we're strong. We jump a really high amount, which is fantastic. So, let's just go to the quest. The plan to defeat Dagath-ur. So, we have to strike the hammer with the artifact Sunder. Did he ever tell us where to get Sunder? Defeat Dagath-ur, go to the... recover the artifact Sunder from the Gate Citadel Vemminal. Then recover the artifact Blade Keening from the Great Citadel Ordosal. Then proceed with Wraithguard Sunder and Keening to the Citadel of Dagath-ur. Yeah. Cool, so we're, like, all ready to go, I think. So, thank you for watching. Next time, well, we're gonna head off on our mission to beat up Dagath-ur. See you then. Goodbye.